Hi, this is Tagabri reporting for Spirit News. The Philadelphia Citizen held a no-holds-barred open forum debate at their office in Center City. 5 city council at-large candidates attended. The 5 candidates in attendance were Kristen Combs of the Green Party, John Staggs, Socialist Workers' Party, Terrence Tracy Jr., Republican, Andrew Stober, Philadelphia Party, and Dennis M. O'Brien, Republican. David O. and Al Taubenberger declined, but were represented by 2 stuffed chickens with their eyes pointed at the real candidates speaking next to them. Councilman O'Brien did not stay the entire time, but his presence and words caused the most debate among the candidates. Here's how the discussion began.
Because I have a certain brand of politics, and sometimes that gets me in trouble with the Republican Party, but that I've grown from the time I was 23 when I was first elected over many, many issues, and I've become an advocate for some of those issues, which I think was the invitation to become the minority speaker. I chaired virtually every committee that there was in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, from military affairs, health and human services, consumer affairs, judiciary. I served on appropriations. I was the only non-lawyer ever appointed to the Judiciary Committee, and I was the majority chair. That experience allowed me to enact major pieces of legislation: aggravated sexual assault and involuntary immediate sexual intercourse. I did the impeachment of Rolf Larson. I did fetal homicide. I did the grand jury of the Archdiocese of Philadelphia on the criminal statute of limitations, and I brought Ira Einhorn back from France. I also took on the insurance companies. I wrote the Breast Cancer Protection Act, the Autism Insurance Bill, and colon rectal. I also, well, it is important because
I know, we don't start today.
What did you do as a councilman?
Well, what I've done is we've created what's called the Philadelphia Autism Project. 10 years ago, we created the Autism Task Force. That serves as a blueprint internationally for services for individuals living with autism. We have created the first municipally driven project, and we brought all the experts from all around the world. We brought individuals here from the tobacco settlement. We brought the top investigators. We now have the top investigators in the world at University of Pennsylvania, Drexel, and CHOP. We have, through the Autism Insurance Bill, which hasn't been implemented, we have the commercial insurers owe the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and our autism line item over $300 million. I also took on the administration when the administration wanted to create a private law firm for indigent counsel. That is a constitutionally protected right, court-appointed counsel. And they put $10 million in that. We took on the administration for several months, and we were ready to go to federal court and to state court. And finally, the administration caved in because they said it was a hyper-technical legal issue.
No, it's here.
I'm just going to go one more. You're in South Philly. I'm going to talk to you about a unique law enforcement proposal.
Why don't the base
in sanctuary cities in South Philadelphia, we created a strategy called Focused Deterrence.
Why'd you vote to raise taxes?
Support education. Thank you very much. Okay.
Let's hear what else. Why don't we just take it?
Pardon me?
I just want to.
Well, I just want to tell you one thing. Focused Deterrence is a strategy in South Philadelphia. And what we did is we focused on those most likely to shoot, most likely to be shot. And what we did is we have taken those individuals, we bring them into a court with
Why did the taxpayers pay $36,000 for insurance to your city car?
Well, I will explain.
Specifically involved in focused deterrence, what your specific involvement was in that program?
Yeah, because that's why I was talking about my background in Harrisburg, where I was chairman of the judiciary, and the DAs and I have been working together for over 25 years. And when they created focused deterrence, and I came to City Hall, they came to me. That issue is very effective in South Philly. We cut murders in half And we did it in two ways. One, by going after those guys and telling them, if your group is involved in a shooting, then we are going to violate you on probation and parole. We're going to increase your drug testing. We're going to see if you're jacking utilities, paying child support, whatever it is. But on the other side, we have a social service outlet. And in the first call-in, we had somebody that wanted to go to community college, somebody that wanted their GED, somebody that wanted residential drug and alcohol treatment, and somebody who wanted $100 a week for their formula for their baby mama. But let me talk to these three individuals. Let me tell you about what was in the Daily News today. You probably saw my picture in the Daily News today, and the reality is, it said that I did a pension grab. That money was money that was taken out of my salary for over 30 years in Harrisburg. And the pension is what it is, and the salary is what everybody else is going to make here.
Okay, so
Alan Don's in the back.
Debbie, thank you very much. Debbie, thank you very much. In the interest of time, I think it makes sense for the rest of us to agree to a few norms. Where we'll answer each other's questions and I'll be respectful of giving each other brief answers.
The debate calmed down after O'Brien left the stage, but when he was asked to rejoin, it heated right back up.
I prevailed that the councilman's schedule will allow some more minutes, and I wanted to get him back up here to join this give and take. This was supposed to be a freewheeling debate, and the councilman did tell me earlier today, which I was supposed to introduce him with, that he had a previous appointment and had to leave. I just prevailed upon him to take a few more minutes. This was supposed to be a freewheeling debate between the candidates, not between the audience and the candidates. So my hope is that you'll let the councilman speak in response to questions or challenges from the other candidates. So councilman, please rejoin the group. And why don't we begin with do you have a question or comment for the councilman? Let's mulligan this.
No. What I have is a proposal to fix the city's economy. And the councilman is more than happy to jump in to the extent his time permits him. I think this is a really significant conversation. When you think about what happened in the primary in the spring, for the first time, I think since the 60s or 70s, we had two endorsed incumbent council members lose. The reality is that you may have one or two new faces on city council as a result of this election. The reality of that is that when you go through issue by issue, you can see coalitions beginning to emerge that will take us in a fundamentally new direction from a policy standpoint. So, no, I don't have a question for the councilman. The councilman is welcome to participate in the process. When he has to go, he's welcome to excuse himself. I hope he'll have us all have a conversation about this. I respect the man, particularly his work on autism, but this is a conversation about the future of the city. So I'm not here to accommodate the councilman's schedule. I'm here to talk about the issues. So, and I hope that's what we can continue to do.
I just want to tell everybody that when I talked to David Thornburg and Larry Platt, I did tell them that I had a very difficult schedule this evening. I wasn't trying to be disrespectful. The reason I was trying to talk about my important work in Harrisburg is because it does affect the economy of the city. We are a city that has the finest academic health centers on the planet. And I wrote the tobacco settlement. And we did something different.
Councilman, can I ask you, how independent are you of the council president, and why did you not introduce a bill to have a public debate on the sale of PGW?
Well, I don't think I'm going to be able to say anything. So the reality is, we have...
I'd actually love to hear the answer to that question.
It's a very specific question, Councilman.
We were just talking about the economic viability of the city. And then I'll get to that question. But the reality is, we have used the tobacco settlement to recruit the top investigators in the world. Each of those investigators that we recruited here brings multiple $1 million in grants, which allows us to drive the construction industry. It allows us to take research and translate that into bedside responses. And we have created tens of thousands of jobs in Philadelphia around cancer.
The unemployment rate is off the...
If you look at your neighborhoods in Center City, our tobacco settlement has wonderful jobs, and these people live in the University of Pennsylvania and the Jefferson Hospital area. I will tell you this. On the PGW deal, that is a very complicated issue. The administration did not share that legislation with us and would not talk to us about anything that was contained in that. The reason that I didn't introduce the bill is because, as I tried to explain earlier, when I introduce bills, they are thoroughly researched
I'm going to
and
simplify
comprehensive.
The reality of the situation is that we did not have a public conversation about the fact that we were willing to forego $500 million.
It's easy to jump in, but let me just tell you something.
It's a debate. You're supposed to.
The reality
We
is,
have to have a conversation, man.
and the reality
Come on,
is,
man. I mean,
if you're going to let me finish, there's three questions that yes, you haven't let me finish.
$18 million dividend for the better part of the last 30 years. If you adjust it for the interest rate alone, it should be twice
The
that
reality
much.
is,
And
when
we
I was
don't have
Speaker of
a
the House, we had
conversation.
conversations with people who lead energy in every
None of us
sector
had the conversation.
across the country, and they would have loved to marry and partner with a municipally owned utility like the Philadelphia Gas
But
Works.
you denied
The
us
other thing that I did, we're going down the same
that
road. The reason the Philadelphia Gas Works got in trouble is we never passed the cost of
No,
natural
because
gas
city
on to the
council did not
consumers.
provide oversight for 30 years. That's why.
If you have a
Gas
strong
works-
mayor, you will have a successful gas works. If you don't, then it's time to reanalyze that issue. But the reality is that we have to have the fundamental issue for the city of Philadelphia going forward is I am a Republican, and I wrote a letter to Governor Corbett, and I said, Governor Corbett, you created this mess. $350 million of Philadelphia's subsidies were taken away from us. We have 11% of the kids, and they cut us by 30%. 400 of the wealthiest school districts got our $187 million, and the 100 poorest school districts
What have
got
you done other than
cut.
write a letter?
But the
You
reality
wrote a
is,
letter, Denny. What else have you done?
I have fought against my party and for this city so that we could get appropriate funding for the city of Philadelphia. The bottom line is, I am a
funding for the school district.
education is not a partisan issue. Whether it's Democrat or Republican, I will stand up for the kids
What's your
in the city
relationship
of
to
Philadelphia.
PGW? What's your relationship to PGW?
I have no relationship.
No
with
relationship?
PGW.
Okay.
But therein lies the problem, really.
Well, listen, I really would love to talk more about education, my kids with disabilities. You wrote a letter.
This is the problem with city council. This is the problem with city council.
This is. Well, I'm very proud of my record in Harrisburg. I'm proud of my record in the city of Philadelphia.
Run for state rep again.
State rep race?
Thank you very much.
This is Todd Gabri reporting for Spirit News. Thanks for listening.